the links. Hello.
We're live. Hey, good evening.
What's up, ISO buddies? Welcome to our ISO podcast. You'll see why my attire is appropriate in a minute. I feel so out of place right now. I got sent these fabulous wife beater t-shirts from my stepmom last Christmas. I think she sent me 24 of them. I don't wear them. So I don't wear them anyway, but they're nice. They're for tall fellas. They're big ones. Anyway, enough ad for
They look comfy.
It's so comfy, but it's so cold down here right now. So I've got a hoodie on backup. Welcome to ISO Buddies, Isopod Chat. I am going to introduce Claire, who's over there, actually. This is our lovely Claire, who spends a lot of time on this project and everything else out of her busy schedule, and we're very grateful for that. She's going to be my co-host from now until the end, till the sun burns out, I think will be.
At least.
Okay, all right, good.
Till the galaxy implodes into the black hole in the middle. Who knows?
Perfect. Yeah, that's Claire.
Yeah, I'm Claire. That's Josh, or some of you, if you're in the groups, might know him as Johannes or Johannes, depending on your linguistic, preferences.
It's my native name.
And he is our glorious leader. He is the host. He's the one that keeps this train rolling and has booked most of our guests so far, and also takes a lot of time out of his busy schedule.
Soon to be not so busy. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens.
We're backing you for Patreon and PayPal next week. You know something happened.
If you see us on Patreon, please hit that top tier.
Patreon is in the works regardless, but
yeah, not yet. We don't. I personally don't feel like we do enough to get paid yet. So let's see. Let's make this equal rights. There we go.
I'm sure we do enough to get paid. We just got to get it sorted. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, guys, shoot us a DM or whatever. We accept anything you want to give us. Volunteer time. You want to be a guest. You've got some cash for us. Help us live that Isopod's life.
Fabric. Yeah, guest ideas. If you want to see somebody that we should bring on, let us know. But more on that later. Today, we have Brian Hahn from Isopod, theisopodman.com. I can't remember. He's one of the first people I bought Isopods from, and I won his very first giveaway. I was the winner, and then his very first waffle is the I won that too. So it's highly suspect. And to be fair, I haven't won since. So we're back in the black with Brian. I'm not in the red anymore on his giveaways. So let me bring him on with no further ado. I can't see behind my camera. Here we go. Here comes Brian. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Good evening, guys.
I'm glad you're in uniform.
Yeah. Gotta love my wife beaters. You're always, I see you're wearing one too, so I love the support.
It was all we could do to get you to wear a shirt today. So, I had
this is our business attire. Yeah.
Brian's shirtless. For those of you that haven't been in a call with Brian, he's shirtless a lot. So we were just very excited to get him to wear a shirt today. Very grateful.
The men's undershirt is the theme. Mine's actually based on like a 1600s men's undershirt. I made it myself.
Oh, that is what that is. Okay, awesome.
That is what that is. That's why it's not poofy enough because I made it. But
I just want to mention our unofficial appropriate sponsor, Arizona Iced Tea. So for all of you who drink almost real juice, this is the way to go. It's cheap. It's delicious. This one's not watermelon.
It's from Arizona.
Yes, it's from Arizona.
It's Arizona, just like the Isopod Man.
Exactly. So Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to get right into it, I think, if that's okay with you. Did you have anything else you wanted to get into before we?
I'm trying to actually look to see, like, how do you tell who's watching and all that jazz?
I don't see anybody yet.
Wow.
I'd have to go to
we're starting off with a great bang here.
Sign in, guys. Anybody? Anyone?
Anybody? Hello?
Bueller?
Hello?
Bueller?
We're still filming. They can watch it later.
I actually just posted your link here on our page, so that way get everybody that's on our page checking you out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing that helps too. So we will let you know that you are officially the waffle king of Facebook. My accent is really thick tonight. I'm sorry. It's Facebook. That joke was rehearsed and it didn't even come out that way. I'm going to rehearse more of these jokes. It came out totally smooth.
Totally.
So, Brian, let's get right into this. So, Claire's got the first question, it looks like.
I do. So, do you have any special background related to either isopods or building a business, like any kind of training or education?
So as far as the isopods, no, I don't have any kind of background in it. As far as business, I don't have like any college experience in that field. I have very, very small amount of college experience with business, but that wasn't my forte. But I've always had this knack for sales, and I just kind of took it and I ran with it. And thus far, our algorithm, our method has worked well for us. And we've just taken a wealth of knowledge from everybody. And I'm one of those people, like, I feel like you never are going to be that expert. There's always something that you could be learning and adding to your wealth of knowledge. And, even for as much as I know now about isopods, I still feel like it's this much compared to what's out there. So there's always something new coming out, whether it's substrates or the way you house them, or, certain things that you're adding into their enclosure, is always changing. And that shows, like, in our collection. Like, you can see I still have bins that are set up from day one to bins that are now completely changed. So,
I think it's cool. It's really cool to be on like the ground floor of this hobby, or maybe not the ground floor, but like definitely the first.
Well, actually, ground floor, I think, honestly, really is the perfect term for it, because I don't think isopods or the bioactive side of things has even come close for the industry, the reptile industry, to really see, because that's essentially where we're tied into, is the reptile industry, because that's where majority people want to do the bioactive stuff. We did one show last November, which is actually our first show. And we're actually next month doing another show. But in that show, there was only a couple of us, and we were the only isopod dedicated business at that show. And people are still coming up to us and they're like, what is this? Like, what are you selling?
Yeah, I watched that when I went to a show. I went to visit Scott at a show, and the same thing happened. Like, people are like, these are roly-polies? And they were like, these are not roly-polies. It's like,
this is our little, oh man, my neighbor, she makes clay figures, and she made me a little isopod.
Nice.
That will never show up on camera. So
yeah, the better one
of it later
is our friend here.
Oh yeah.
So I can't even tell you how many times this guy almost got stolen at the show. But I think we are on the ground floor of it. While the group chats, the forums and things like that, while yes, they're busy, there's still like a whole world out there that has absolutely no clue what these things are. When I tell them, are you familiar with roly-polies? We used to flick them as kids. Well, guess what? Some of them could get you $25. And people are like, what? So, yeah, personally, I feel like we're still on the ground floor of it.
That's cool. That was improv. That was total improv question. That was good. So who or what got you into the hobby, or business? I guess it's business now.
So a couple of things actually got us started. I want to say Russ from Aquarimax was the very first video I ever had seen, and I think it was just an accident. I've always been involved with reptiles, and I had started getting heavily back into reptiles. I had a lot of snakes, but I'm still not 100% on the bioactive for snakes. But I had a leopard gecko who I still have, and she is still, like, her enclosure is still my test bed for everything that we do.
Okay.
And I started doing bioactive stuff there. And Russ was probably the first video I seen. And last week's guest, Wally, he had a lot of videos, and that was one of the people that I started watching his videos and getting clues of how to get things started. And from there, I just started adding my own little spin to things, or trial and error. As he said, he has a lot more error than he does success, which I think that's honest, like how it is for everybody. If you're not failing, you're not succeeding. And so there was a lot of trial and error with our leopard gecko, and we finally just found that right niche, and I really enjoyed doing it. Like at the end of the day, I was like, man, this was a lot of fun getting into it. And then from there, it grew and it grew. And that was all with the leopard gecko. And the way we ended up getting started was I got so heavily involved into it. My isopods, my springtails, were breeding on their own inside of a 40-gallon breeder really well. I posted up on one of the local reptile groups. Hey, does anybody need springtails? Anybody need powder orange, powder blues? I have an abundance of them. And one shop reached out to us and said, hey, how many springtails do you have? And I was like, I have 10 of them. I was like excited. I had 10 extra. She's like, I'll take them all. And I was like, whoa, damn, how'd that just work out? So from there, that one shop, she is still one of our best customers to this day. She's been a mentor to us, and we have just taken off really fast with her. You can't wear a hat. It covers up the snazzy hair. I don't have any hair.
You talk about me. Morris said that Josh needs a hat. And I wear hats, but I can't anymore. I could wear like a do-rag or something. I don't know.
But yeah, so it was literally, something that started as, I was like, cool, this is awesome. It worked for us. And then we had a shop reach out to us, and it just went from there. So, and since that day, like I said, it's the right formula has worked for us, and we've done pretty well for ourselves.
That's awesome. That's good to hear.
That's amazing. That actually also kind of answered our next question, which was, when did you get serious about the hobby?
So again, it was one of those things, man. I feel like my camera is not like, there we go. All right, focus. Hello. Again, it was just kind of one of those things where I think it was, and I'm staring at her enclosure in case you're wondering. It was probably about 5 or 6 months before I started thinking like, okay. And the only reason we started selling, it was never intended to be what it was. We started because I was trying to find a way to feed all my snakes. Well, feeder rats. We were buying rats every single weekend. And I was like, man, this is getting to be a little bit pricey. And so we were just selling to this one shop. And she was like, when are you going to step it up? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you guys have a good thing going. And, all of our stuff, like, I wanted everything to look professional. And I'll show you. When you go to a reptile shop, you just see this plain old tub. 9 times out of 10, they write something on top of it. By the way, these are Thai Spikeys that are sitting in there. And I was like, man, that just looks so lame. Like, even though I was only selling a few here and there, I started making my own labels. I started looking into making my own substrate. I did everything on my own. And next thing you know, other shops started taking notice of it. And my wife and I were looking at each other, and I was like, can I try this? And she's like, sure. Well, started off with just like 3 or 4 species. And I think now we have 72 bins with separate species in every single one of them. And we breed hardcore with them. And pretty much we're Isopod pimps. So
Isopod pimps.
We breed them and then sell the babies.
That could be your next like outside, your breeder facility, Isopod Pimps, the business face, Isopod
Yeah.
Man. Nice.
So
Nice.
that one deli cup can pay for college. Yeah, you know what? And it is like if you stay to it, the business, anybody honestly really can take off with it. Just don't fudge around on your taxes.
Oh, is that the deal?
I know a few people that have shot themselves in the foot by skipping out on taxes.
Not smart. Not smart. We have a tax issue this year, so because we have a tax issue this year, and I can understand that. So thank God for
taxes.
these
This was the first time doing my taxes, and it was hard. Like I spent night after night trying to figure everything out, and then when we looked at like our grand total of what we spent in isopods last year, I almost passed out. It was almost $20,000 in isopods last year.
That's pimping a lot of pods there, Brian.
You got me by $12. You beat me by $12, and I don't sell anything.
So yeah, it was kind of scary, and to be honest, we started this business with $1,500. That was it.
Wow, I mean, still, that's kind of all you need to get going on this. So
yeah,
you frozen mid drink on me. How did you manage to make this your full-time gig in such a short amount of time? Like, you've only been in the hobby like a year, basically, right?
Yeah, so we've been actively, like, as a business in the hobby for a solid year, literally. We've done Isopods a little bit longer than that, but as a business. So my thing is I was still working full-time up until today, actually. I was fired today. Yay.
Almost. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it's the wife beater thing. It gets you fired every time. So, you know what? I worked hardcore. I worked 60, 70 hours a week. My wife was working, and we worked as a team together. We took every dollar that we've literally made in the last year, and none of it went into our pockets for a solid year. We took every single dollar we made and we reinvested it into the business. Like I said, we started with $1,500 and I spent 20 grand on isopods last year. That doesn't, when you look at like how much we've paid for everything in the last year, like even I sit back and I'm like, holy shit, like we could really do this. Sorry, I can't curse.
Yeah, you can. I mean,
that's your one. Because, the algorithm, it is still YouTube.
But no, I stuck to it. No matter how hard I wanted to quit at times, my wife was like, no, don't, you're stressing out. Don't worry about it. And that's what women are great for. They're the ones that are in the background and like, knock it off. You're fine. Yeah. You're overreacting. Don't tell me that. But yeah, so, I can't even tell you how many times I wanted to just be done with it. And, I would go like 2-3 days and I was like, man, I don't have a single sale. I'm like, I'm done. It's over. I don't know what happened. I said the wrong thing. And then all of a sudden we would just get this flood of orders. But sticking to it, and this is like encouragement for anybody that wants to start their own business, whether it's isopods or anything, just keep at it. Keep at it. Don't give up. You're going to have your rough days. You're going to have your great days. And stay in touch with people. You mentioned you were our first waffle winner, and I try to build a little bit of a relationship with everybody. I try to be constantly in communication one way or another with people. And I think, you and I talked on the phone a couple days back or a week back. It's just whether it's catching up with somebody here and there. And I feel like if your customer service is in there and you just stay dedicated to it, you can make it successful.
That's right. I have a hard time with the businesses is I would, everybody in this industry that I've talked to has literally become a friend. So I would be just doling out freebies and discounts and whatever. Like I'd make nothing ever. Like shipping. Oh, I'm not going to charge you shipping. I could pay that $25. I'm good. So.
I'll be honest. My shipping method sometimes, man, I still eat the cake on it at times. Like there's such an algorithm behind shipping, especially when people order such a large quantity, and it's hard to determine the shipping cost. I can't even tell you how many times like an order was like $100, but I ended up eating $30 or $40 in shipping on it and just walked away, breaking even. But, it's like I said, it's just one of those things you're always having to learn. And if you're not learning, well,
yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we heard a little bit about the challenges, but what do you think is the most rewarding part of all of this?
It's not even the isopods for me. It's not, yes, I enjoy playing with all the isopods. I still get super giddy when I see Mankai running around in there, and I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. But you know what? I've met a lot of awesome people along the way. And since he's watching, I'll throw Morris into this. When Morris was just getting started into this, we buy a ton of his substrate, and we started reselling it and shipping it off to our shops that we sell to. And he was just excited that we would order like 20 bags, and this was in the start. And I'm like, dude, your stuff's on our website now. And he's like, man, that's so awesome. It's just awesome seeing people succeed in it in their own, because a lot of the folks that are on these groups, they're trying to get their own start too, or it's just excited. Like I have one of our customers, she's still to this day, like every isopod she orders from me, I'll get a message like 3-4 weeks later. She's like, they're having babies. And, it's just awesome to see other people equally as excited about something you're passionate about. And, we love sharing information and helping people out. And that's, at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun for me. If I didn't have the people that I do to talk to and help and get help from, I don't think I'd be doing it.
That's great. That's good.
I love that answer. Like, community is really the name of the game here at IsoBuddies too, and I feel like we're on the same page with that.
Yeah. It's very, very much a part of what we do, and why you're like our third guest. So, all right, where am I at? Oh, well, we're going to talk pods specifically now. So, in your estimate, give me an estimate of how many pods are under your roof right now.
With our current situation, we probably have somewhere around 40 or 50,000 isopods.
40 or 50, give or take 10. Give or take 10,000. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, we have. While we do breed, we do, because of how big we've grown. We currently handle 5 shops. And that's 5 shops in the valley. And so we do have to sometimes bring in isopods from other big time breeders. I can tell you on any given week, we probably have anywhere from like 5,000 to 7,000 isopods coming and going. So
that's a ton.
That's a lot of pods.
It is. And every single one of them's hand counted. So I've got a method to it, and it's actually sitting here. This is the stupid thing. This is my bowl. This is how
that's a counting bowl.
But my paintbrush.
I love my paintbrush.
This is how I sort my isopods. My bowl and my brush. So I hand count everything, and we try to make sure that the people that we do get our other isopods from, they're exceedingly healthy. Last thing we want to do is ship out anything that's no good. The iso bowl. Yeah, I say that. But even the pods that we do get in, they end up in a quarantine situation, because last thing we want to do is ship off something that's no good.
Right.
But yeah, so under our roof, probably right now, we have somewhere around 40 to 50,000.
That's some big numbers.
That's a lot of isopods.
I mean, I have that in dairy cows, but I've only had them for 4 weeks. So
that's how cows go. So
kinda.
40 to 50,000 isopods, and I know that you have quite the range of species too. So what species or morphs are you currently the most excited about, or are there any that you're really looking forward to getting into?
So these guys right here, like I said, these are my Thai Spikies. This is
Okay,
actually
you gotta open that up and show the people, because
Yeah.
these
you
are
find a way.
impressive.
unfortunately you're not going to be able to see these guys. They're just so small. And I'll see if I can pull the biggest guy out. These guys scare me to death because of how expensive they are. And I damn near paid almost retail for these guys. I doubt you're even going to be able to see this little guy. You can maybe.
Yeah, you got to cover your face, and then
There he
you
is.
go. Oh, for a second.
There he is.
Wow.
There's
I love that
one.
they almost look like Panda Kings. Like that's the patterning on them is.
There he is. So these guys scare me because of how expensive they are. We had one of them die almost immediately, and I freaked out because they're about $125 a piece. And while they're neat, they're not my favorites. And I'll be honest, like one of my favorites to this day, and the pricing on them has plummeted. I'm a huge Panda King person. I love pandas. Yeah, see the look of shock right there.
Like I only have a couple. I have like 20 or 40, and I don't ever see them, but they're in a big bin. So I gave them a lot of space because I heard they breed like crazy.
In one 18-quart bin, we probably have about 400 or 500 of them.
Okay.
They breed worse than dairy cows, man.
I can't wait.
But they're awesome. They're such a fun species. And now what I'm seeing is we are seeing like different patterns coming out in them. I've got all black pandas with literally just a speck of white on their butt. Or I actually have all black pandas.
Who was it? Was it Rachel that said hers? She's got some that are all gray.
Yeah, we
Rachel,
might as well call it like all gray. I mean, it's kind of a blackish gray tinting to it.
Yeah.
But as I've had them and they've bred down, I've started seeing like different patterns and things like that. Everybody's coming in the house now, but
so you get for being in the front room.
Yeah, so we've started seeing some really cool patterns. Now that being said, my newest acquisition that I'm working with, I've had them now for a couple of months. Let me see if I won't dig them out right now, but they are the T-negative albino silver ghost.
Cool.
They are just a straight albino silver ghost. I acquired them off of one of my good friends, and they've been breeding and they've been doing well. And it's kind of one of those things where you'll see, it's hard to tell how many they're actually having all in one shot, but we'll say out of 10, probably about 6 of them are albino, and then the other 4 are just regular silver ghost. Really neat species. And one of the other ones that popped up randomly, and this actually popped up in one of our drinks and pods nights that we had. We ended up with some albino Pakchongs.
Oh, I was there for that, I think. I was there in the moment when that happened.
Yeah, so I was doing maintenance on the bin, and I pulled out about 5 albino Pakchongs.
That would be an amazing. Pakchong's probably my favorite. That I have right now.
And actually, they're sitting on the floor. Actually, it's that. Damn, I'm trying to figure out that tub.
Yeah, it's different, right?
Right there.
Okay. Yep. Got it.
Is actually all Pakchongs right now. So I've been working on maintaining that bin and all that stuff. Let's see, what is it? Trying to read the chat a little bit here, and Morris is white duckies and lavas. You know what? As much as I like the white ducks, I'm kind of at that point where I just kind of thinking about just selling them all off and being done with it. They're cool. I like them, but there's other cool stuff that I'm really interested in. I'm not that big into the high-end stuff, to be honest. The high-end stuff's neat. I'm a huge Scabers fan. Scabers are probably like one of my top ones. I love all the different morphs that are coming out of them. So anything Scabers is usually my alley.
And you can pretty much breed all the Scabers to all the other Scabers, not like like I know Russ, you were talking about Russ tried to breed orange cows, and they
Yep.
just don't. Like cows are totally their own species basically now, right? Is what they're thinking.
Yeah, they're thinking that the Lavis, the dairy cows, is somewhere else.
Because their genitals don't line up anymore. Like,
yeah,
this is how I imagine their genitals.
And to be honest, like if you actually take the dairy cow, like take a big chunk of dairy cow, and then take a big like orange Lavis or caramel or white and look at them, there is differences in them.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can see a little bit of difference. And there's been even a lot of talk like, I think probably right now the biggest ones are the Cubaris species. There's so many of them that are mislabeled, and they're even saying rubber duckies don't even fit into the Cubaris species. So there's a lot of
that would be awesome. That would be awesome if we found out they're not even Cubaris.
What we really need, if anybody's thinking about going back to grad school, is a new Isopod taxonomist to help us get all of that sorted out and named officially in the science.
There
should be an easy degree. There's no experts. Like
I touched into this a little bit a while back, and there is a guy who has been, I don't even know his name, to be honest. It was just something that I was reading about, and he has submitted quite a few of his samples of species to some science place, and they've dove down into it and have started figuring out, that certain species aren't even actually that. I'm trying to think of, like, for example, they were called the Cubaris dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're also called shrubs, but they're actually a Marinella. They're not a Cubaris. So, and when you look at their body structure, they look nothing like a Cubaris, but they've been labeled as a Cubaris or Cubaris. Everybody has a different accent to it, but yeah. So those, and then, there's different names for them. You got dreams, and then you got shrubs. And so it's interesting to see what's out there.
Awesome. Speaking of what's out there, let's talk about what's not. I remember you were working on, and I was one of the people that you released this idea to back in the day. One of your business projects was to design and produce an acrylic enclosure, the Isopod Man enclosure. And I saw prototypes, but I've never seen it since. So what happened with that project?
So that's
you have on the page are not the same. That's a
time-consuming project, and to be honest, we're just now starting to get back to it. One of the biggest problems, and right now you see a lot of like enclosures out there. A lot of people are trying to make different enclosures and stuff like that, but you see a lot of them made out of plastic. And it's not to knock the plastic ones, but if you've noticed, everything behind me is white. As I showed you earlier, my desk is white. I like super clean stuff. And so I was working with acrylic. And I have a buddy who has a laser cutter, and we were cutting acrylic and making enclosures. The enclosures do exist. They are out there.
I saw them.
We did discover a problem with acrylic, and we're currently working on it because it can be done, but I have to figure out the right acrylic. So acrylic actually will absorb moisture. Weird. And yeah, people don't even realize it because they think, it's plastic, whatever. When it absorbs moisture, it starts to look like Gumby. It starts just doing this. Mm-hmm. And we shipped out our first 6 acrylic enclosures. And actually all these customers still have them. We just ended up giving them their money back on it because it was cheaper than having them shipped back. But basically what happened was within a week, the moisture from substrate and everything like that got absorbed by the acrylic. And next thing you know, all the enclosures just started waving out. And man, I had to jump on it quick because it was kind of embarrassing because this is when we were starting to really pick up steam. People knew who we were and people were excited about the enclosures, and we were too. And it flopped hard, and it was embarrassing. Like at that point I was just like, oh shit,
that sucks.
Saw that. So we ended up hitting the brakes on it for a little while. We have been quietly working on it, because people have expressed interest, and we've done some really, really cool stuff with the acrylics. And so one of the, we were also one of the only ones that we were using colored acrylic in some of our stuff. So it's coming. We're having to order some acrylic from a specialty company. But the biggest problem right now is obviously with COVID, everybody is using face masks. Well, in the hospitals, they use the clear shields or, things like that. Well, that's all acrylic. So there's an acrylic shortage.
Sure.
So getting acrylic right now is it's a hard thing to do.
There's definitely more important stuff to do right now. So
we are still working on it. I think it's called cast acrylic. Yeah. But there's another thing behind it. So we're still experimenting with it. And I do have one somewhere, but
I was looking on your website like 3 weeks ago. I wanted to order one and have it for the show. Like I wanted to have it like set up and like, boom, here you go. But
hey, Wally finally joined us.
I'm glad we didn't try it. Hi, Wally. Hi, Ching. I didn't say hi, Ching, before. Chunky Avocado's here. We didn't mention her showing up to post all of our links and do all of the stuff that I don't ever do. So thank God for her. Yeah. Thank God for her. We love you, CA. That doesn't work. I'm trying to find a way to shorten Chunky Avocado.
Who is Chunky Avocado?
We don't get into her real name. She's our producer. She's our back of house producer.
She's Area 51.
Yeah, you know her. You definitely know her.
Chunky Avocado.
Or Zemblanity. So she has 2 accounts on Twitter, so she has 2 of my 7 followers. So if it wasn't for her, she almost doubled my numbers single-handedly. So let's see, who's next? I forgot what question we just asked.
Why don't we get back on track?
Yeah.
And the acrylic enclosure, like, I'm glad you're still working on the project. I'm kind of excited to see what becomes of it, because I think there really is a market for more display type enclosures and the clean lines and all of that. But in addition to working that out, what's the next big thing? What's coming up for Isopod Man?
Well,
can you talk about it? Can you talk about it first?
We'll divulge a little bit. I'm not going to go into full details. I had to sign an NDA.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So there's something really big coming if there's NDAs involved.
So as I said, we are currently in 5 stores in the Valley, just regular reptile stores. Come September, we will be in 55 more. Nice. We're also about to move into a warehouse. So at the last show that we were at, we got shopped by a big corporation. They came up, talked to us, everything. We had no clue. It was just, I was just excited to be there. And, we talked. And so a few months back, we got an email, and I thought, this is somebody pranking me. Like this sounds like something Josh would do. And
it probably is something he would do, to be fair.
I know a little bit extra about this, and it does sound like something I would do.
Yeah. So, I ended up doing a lot of research into it, and it was actually legit. And we met with a big corporation, and they expressed interest in expanding their business into isopods. So as of say about 2.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, about 2.5 weeks ago, we signed contracts, and we are now in full bore production. We have 40,000 isopods under the roof. It'll probably be closer to 100,000 come September.
That'll be the warehouse roof, right?
Yeah, so that's the next big move. We're currently shopping warehouses. We have a realtor who's working on that, and we're looking to expand and move it into. And with that being said, like I said, now I work this business full time. This is my office, mi casa tu casa. So we're excited, and we're gonna bring some people on board, because it's a big undertaking. So look for real big things. But at the same time,
I might be looking for work. So I'll let you know.
You want to move to Arizona?
I mean, I'm not against it.
It's only 123 degrees in the summer.
I mean, if you don't
that's not
mind,
bad.
It's not that bad.
I used to live in
Let's have this
Saudi
interview in
Arabia.
the summer when I can show you eggs being cooked on the pavement.
Yeah, I used to live in Saudi Arabia. It used to be that in the shade.
You know what? Here's the thing. Like, I've lived in the heat most of my life, and I hate it. I hate the heat. Like, I'm a cold person. I love cold weather, you know, and
We're
I
built for it,
make the
Brian.
joke all the time. Like, I can always add clothes and get myself warm, but there's only so much I can take off before somebody's calling the cops. So, you know.
How are the tacos there? That's my main question for moving to Arizona.
No.
Really?
What? I'm out. I'm out. Never mind. If you want to do a satellite like in Texas, I'm down.
You know what? I'll tell you this. I hate California with a passion, but they make the best freaking street tacos in the world. Like,
right.
You catch a taco truck flying down the road that's got no licenses or anything like that, and you stop one of them and you tell them, hey, I need 3 chicken taco. Huh? Chicken. Bak, bak. Oh, okay. And the next thing you know, you get 3 of the best tacos of your life, man. They're awesome.
For like $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell that Wally's from Wisconsin with this question?
Yeah. Wally,
Yeah.
123 degrees. It's not that bad, really. Yeah, it's Wally, I'm telling you, man, we'll have this interview again in the summertime, and I'll show you guys. I'll take out one of my cast iron skillets and set it on the pavement, and we'll cook an egg on the pavement.
To be fair, when it gets up to 123, it's just oppressive. Like,
Yes,
you can't
so
feel.
that's the thing. You don't
once
see
you get to about
anybody.
40 C, you can't feel the difference to 45 or 50.
Yeah,
because
it's
just
one.
oppressive.
In all honesty, once it hits 100, whatever. At that point, it doesn't matter. You know, and I've been here when it's hit like high 120s, and then that's when you're like, okay, that's a little much. But you don't. It's a ghost town during the day.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, for sure.
Nobody wants to be outside. Like, it's crazy. You get 3rd-degree sunburn. You walk out onto the pavement, you get 3rd-degree burns. It's
Do like
something
we
else.
used to do in Saudi and turn the car on to get the AC rolling before you go anywhere. Like Wally probably turns his heater on in the
I
winter.
was trying to find my keys, but auto start, man, that's a lifesaver right there.
Yeah.
They must have it in every car there. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't remember. I had a secondary question because my scheduled question is, what's your secret sauce for growing a new business? But you already answered as hard work and just diligence. Just stay at it.
Don't lose that momentum. Like, you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have really bad days, and days where it's just like, what am I doing? But then when you finally, like, when you hit that right sauce and suddenly things start kicking in, man, it's such a fun feeling. And, you know, this is a first for us. And, you know, I went and bought a new microphone. I bought a new camera, and I put my best wife beater on, and here I am with you guys. So, you know, for me, this is exciting. This is fun. And, you know, it's enjoy the ride. Like, there's some people, like, you know, they're doing it solely for the money, and that's fine. And, you know, once it turns into a business, yeah, now we're solely, you know, dependent on the business. So there's a huge aspect of it that, you know, I rely on it. But at the same time, I have to keep reminding myself, have fun with it. Enjoy what you're doing. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing at the end of the day, you won't make it. So just don't give up.
Sage advice.
Oh, did we lose Josh?
Yeah, I lost the interview. There you go.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to have it. I'm down in my basement, and it is not 123 degrees here. So
actually, I think it's like 50 degrees right now.
We've got we've got snow outside, so it's not the best.
I'm about to turn the heater on, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My internet just. Were you guys still in? Were you guys still?
Yeah, everything's fine as far
we're
as.
We're still kicking, man.
Yeah.
Party's still
you
around.
weren't even gone long enough. We barely noticed. We just noticed that you came back. It was brilliant.
We were having a party. Everybody was 3 sheets into the wind, and
perfect.
It's basically drinks and pods right now.
Exactly.
Now we're brought to you by Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
No, drinks and pods, man. Beer.
You can. I can't.
See, and you know what? Get your official Isopod Man coasters.
You got to have swag if you go to shows. Like you definitely got to get a swag bag.
We have a lot of cool stuff. I mean, I've got little things here, there, everywhere. You know, and if you've ordered from us, you usually find yourself getting one of our keychains or one of our holographic stickers or pins.
I have the pin somewhere around here.
You
Here it
actually
is.
received.
The
You
first
were one
one.
of the only ones to get that particular pin. That was the
Yeah.
only. We only had like 3 of them, and they were prototypes at that time.
Yep.
So,
And then I got a little placard, a little acrylic placard that says special.
Yep.
Special thing for it's in my magic potion still. It's still in that bin.
So that particular plaque was the same guy that makes our acrylic displays.
Right. So your plaque is inside Morris's bin with Morris's substrate and your magic potions and some other magic potions that
Morris got hooked up for Secret Santa. He got some really cool acrylic coasters with his company logo on them in a custom box and everything.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he'll have to bring those, but it's his turn to get interviewed.
Speaking of swag, Claire, I think you have a relatable
Yeah,
question to
speaking of
ask.
swag and marketing and whatnot, because we know you're good at marketing and getting your name out there, what tips do you have for us so that we can get some more people here on our little channel?
Just keep sharing. You know, well, obviously you guys don't have freebies to give away, but you know, just you guys are doing awesome. You guys are doing awesome. Like, in all honesty, I couldn't think of 2 people that are more friendly and sociable that to get this thing going with. You guys rock. I may have not caught on with you guys like on every live, but when I do bin maintenance, which is usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I turn it on. I turn my speakers on, and I just listen to the show and everything. So you guys are in the right direction. It's awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You know,
Thank you.
You know, stay humble, stay cool, keep the personalities going, stick to your recipe, and you guys got a good thing going. I heard you guys yakking earlier about making some money, and it'll come. It'll come.
When the time's right, I'm sure it will. It's not the primary goal, but we'd love it if it happened.
I'm a gimmicky person. Like and Josh will be the first one, and I think you remember, and I haven't done this in a while, and shame on me. Josh, you remember, I think it was probably one of the first rubber ducky waffles that I did. You remember the big goofy story that I added to it? And then shortly after that rubber ducky, it was the blondes. And you remember I made it was the blonde girls, the blonde ducks that went on vacation.
Oh, yeah. Came back.
It was a huge gimmicky thing. And you know what? I still have somewhere that picture, that duck that you drew for us. I do have that, the duck that was smoking. But, you know, it's just, hey, you know what? I hang on to everything. Believe it or not, you know, it was cool. Like around Christmas time, we got a lot of like little notes and things that were sent back to us from our customers. And I hang on to all this stuff. You know, I think for me, it's so cool to just like see the things. People are actually paying attention. And for you guys have got a show going on. So, you know, the more people you're gaining, the viewers and everything like that, it's going to be awesome when you guys are really, really big and you got people like, hey, I know you. That's a cool thing.
That'll feel cool. We get that kind of now. Like we're a little out of our depth. Like we've had some really great guests already and have some people lined up that are.
You guys went all out.
Amazing.
Right out. Like you brought the big guns. Now I'm worried. Like who are you gonna bring out next? Morris.
There's the Isopod Mama.
Morris.
You're in trouble.
Here's Isopod Man.
It's bedtime.
So and she's got little Isopod right there. So.
Look at that. Those little ankles.
Just stick to it, you know, and being sociable with people. Stay friendly. You know, I can't even tell you, like, there's times, yes, where like we get customers and I really just want to tell them my thoughts and process, but you know, smile, keep it going because yeah, it's just once you get that smiling and people really know who you are and they love talking to you, it's infectious. It's awesome.
Yeah. We're fans of it. So now's part of the show we're going to open. Oh, wait. Do I have one more?
We can
Claire
open
did her
Q&A
thing.
because of the lag by the time it gets
Yeah.
to
I think we went through a lot of pro tips. Do you have any extra pro tips for people?
Pro tips, like as far as like taking care of isopods, or
anything you want to
Sure.
add that you haven't had
Anything
chance
you wanna tell people, that like a little quick tip that
you know what, I kind of want
figured
to
out?
I want to reiterate something that Wally had brought up, you know, and I make a lot of errors, and don't you know, give up on it. Like, just you're gonna mess up. It's, you know, unfortunate. It's one of those things, and yes, they're living creatures, and it sucks when you lose them. But you know, like I said, I think we are seriously on that ground floor still. I don't think we've even scratched that surface. So, you know, almost every other week. I mean, for example, look at Morris's substrate, for example. His stuff is so much different than a lot of other people out there, and he puts a lot of research into it. And you find benefits to this and benefits to that. And, you know, so things are constantly changing. You're going to mess up and you are going to lose species, but don't be discouraged. You know, especially if you're trying to be a breeder or even as a hobbyist, you know, just don't give up. It's a learning process. Learn as much as you can. Take a little bit of advice from here and a little bit from here and a little bit there, and put your own twist into it, and you know, have fun with it. Again, if you're not having fun with it, yeah, you're not doing this stuff for the right reason.
And you know,
That's
if you
true.
do have those losses, there are things you can do. I know we've shown off some of my dead bug art. Like, send me your dead and I'll wet mount them or put them in resin for you.
You know what? I'll throw myself under the bus right here. So this was solely on me. I had surgery. I had knee surgery about 3 weeks ago, and my wife works full time, and it was hard. Like, I could not move very much, and I neglected the isopods. I lost about 170 expanses. My entire collection, because of neglect, because of the fact that I didn't, you know, I was trying to get through it. I was under a lot of pain medication, so I was trying to do everything, and you know, it just one of those things. I've had entire cultures crash for no reason whatsoever. Just entire cultures drop off the face of the earth for no reason. Fresh substrate, ingredients, the whole works. And for whatever reason, everything went down. Yeah, well, that was it. 170 expanses. Yeah, that was a zinger. I'm not gonna lie, I did shed a tear for that one. But you know, at the end of the day, I enjoy this. I love doing what we do. You know, I love the people we talk to. You know, I've picked Wally's brain a couple times. I've talked to Morris. I've picked everybody's brain, little here, little there. You know, maybe somebody's doing something different that I'm not, and they're having better success. Don't ever stop asking questions, and don't be discouraged. So that's my advice. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged.
I like that. There's a lot of opportunities for success too, as many as there are for, like, you talk about your expanses passed out, but like then you talked about earlier, you've got stuff breeding like crazy, and you've got babies everywhere, and you know, it's a balance. It's a little bit of a balance.
You got to take the good with the bad.
And you know what happened to the expanses, so it won't happen again.
Yeah,
So,
that won't happen again.
That's a beautiful isopod. They're on my wish list, but I got to focus on getting my armadillidiums. I gotta get them all.
You just missed a waffle. We actually did a waffle with 6 species of armadillidium. I think
My big one next, I think, is Werneri. I'm gonna get some Werneri with my Biden bucks.
Parakeet, officinalis, peach, whiteout, and orange vigors.
Nice. I have your orange vigors. They're doing really good.
You do.
Does anybody have any questions in our audience? Like, this is where we open a Q&A, I think. Right? That was it, right? I didn't jump the gun.
No, we're on Q&A.
Sorry, my phone blacked out. I didn't.
Look like a whole lot of questions coming in right now. Morris says you need to be a motivational speaker there, Brian.
So here's a funny
Just do
thing.
it.
I'll give you guys a funny little story. This is outside of Isopods. So I went to University of Houston because Texas education's best. And I went to college, a political science degree, and I used to work for Ron Paul. And my thesis was an 18-page thesis on the gold standard, and a lot of my research came from Ron Paul. And I had the hardest time speaking in my public speaking classes. Like I hate talking like in person. And I submitted this thesis, and next thing you know, I got a call and was asked to come out to talk with the dean and talk with the head professor from the political science department. And they forced me to basically give an entire speech on my thesis in front of like 15,000 people in that college. And I'm gonna tell you what, there wasn't enough Valium in my possession that day to get that one going. And if you've ever seen that movie, what is it, 8 Mile with Eminem, where before he goes out and raps, he just goes and pukes? Yeah, that was me. Except I was in a nice suit and everything, and I'm like holding it all back. And yeah, so I don't, public speaking, I'm not great with, but I love seeing people succeed. Like I talked to Morris more times. I think I've talked to Morris probably a lot. I think we have a good friendship. And, when he was really just starting to get started and moving along, like I loved seeing every aspect of his growth. And, Wally, he's a phenomenal dude. He's done very well for himself, and dude's got a wealth of knowledge. Trying to think of some other guys that have really helped me out, like Dave Aveline. He's helped me out. He's one of those quiet breeders that you don't really see very often. And it's just, like I said, even the smallest of persons trying something different and having success. And I've taken little bits here and there and just don't ever stop learning. And I love to just see people succeed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's an awesome sentiment. Looks like Morris wants to know when you're coming back out to Texas.
That's actually been a discussion. We'll see if I helped at all, Brian. Wally, man, you help. I can't tell you how many people you probably help. You're a huge person out there, and I've taken a lot of what I've learned from his videos, like in the beginning, and you know what? I haven't heard Wally say it in a long time, but I'm going to throw it out there. Stop opening up the lids to your isopods. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Don't nobody want to be seen 24/7, and they don't want to be seen either. And you know what? Once I learned that one fact in the beginning, man, my isopod just took off. Leave them alone.
I still can't learn. If I'm anxious to get babies, I'm like, guys, let me just put you on top of each other. Let's just figure this out.
Yeah. You want to start counting. You're like 1, 2, 3, and then
Hey, little eyedropper tequila. Come on, let's do this.
So that's been the biggest thing. Like, and I tell that to people all the time. Leave them alone.
Well, he said it's time for a 2021 update.
Exactly.
Leave them alone. You
Leave
need it
your
reminded.
isopods alone.
You need it reminded. I think Chunky Avocado was one of the worst when she started. She was one of the worst at checking on her pods, and now she's down to 3. So that's not why. That's not why. But she's got her 3.
I was horrible when I first started. I was like, "Are you guys still there? Okay. Are you guys still there? Okay." I would do that every couple hours, and just you're just stressing them out and everything. And
my poor pandas.
Like I've gotten
I used to do that.
Do what?
So I used to do that, and then I got a couple of bids where I'd never see them, but the food kept disappearing.
Yeah.
So I just kept feeding them, and now I see them when I feed them, once or twice a week.
So my Cubaris, I don't even bother them, but maybe once a month, once every other month. And because they're a little more sensitive to certain things, excuse me. I've got it down to a method. 72 bins usually takes me about 2.5, 3 hours. my springtails take me way longer to do that. So I think we have probably a couple hundred master cultures. So that takes a long time. But the maintenance, we've got it down pretty good. If we've got the music going, I'll open the tops, each bin, literally 3-4 seconds in each bin. I can quickly get the food in there that I've got, and then I'm very meticulous about how I water each one of my bins. So I don't mess with those guys hardly at all. I'm trying to think of who I even really look at the most these days. I think I probably stare more at the Thai Spikeys because I'm scared of how much money is sitting in that one little tub. And I'm like, oh, shit, are you guys still alive? So, yeah.
Is that their setup right now? Is that just where they're living? Because there's like a dozen?
Yeah, there's 6 of them in there.
Oh, my God.
They're so tiny. Let me see if I can show you. Because I have one here that died, and he is perfect everything. I was actually going to do some photos with him just so I can see.
If you need him cast in resin, Claire's your gal.
Yep.
Okay.
We could do some casting.
That's so tiny. And that's basically full grown?
No. This guy is not full grown. There he is.
So he's a juvenile. Okay.
So
he just keeps focusing on.
This is a very, very, very tiny little guy. I do have a full grown adult in there, and he is probably a little bit smaller than the size of a pea. So very, very
That's
small
so
little guy. And they're cool. They really are a neat looking little species. And once you leave them alone and let them do their thing, they do breed well. But I've had them now maybe about a month, and they drive me nuts. I'm paranoid about them because of the amount of money that's in them. And, by comparison to what we have for isopods, that's a huge investment right there. But that being said, I'm actually not going to be keeping them much longer because of our next venture. I need to be more focused on those things versus some of the high-end stuff. But I do have this once COVID allows traveling and all that, we are actually taking a business trip overseas. So take a look
Nice.
at my goal for once COVID's lifted, 2022 is to basically learn more. And that's, I'm excited about isopods and learning more about how things, go together and the species and things like that.
I feel like they're one of those fundamental species for ecosystems. Like, definitely. Like fungus. They're like a fungus, basically, for the forest or the plains or whatever habitat they're in.
Detritivore, like they're decomposers essentially. So when something dies, where does it go?
Well, they
if we
can even
don't have
decompose.
isopods, it takes a lot longer to get there.
Morris said my expanses aren't gone, by the way. The ones I got from you have been breeding. Hey, I might need those.
So
you've got to keep a couple hobby-sized pets there.
Well, Brian, if you join us over in the chat tonight, I'm sure you and Morris can work something out if he pops in too.
He'll be there.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. That's it for us tonight, Brian. Thanks for coming out.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me. And
thank you so much. We are going to have to get you back after that overseas trip because I can hear all about it.
Brag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are Claire originals.
These are Claire's originals.
I do. Those are watercolor. So watercolor isopod portraits. You send me a picture with your copyright that I can work from for a model, and I will do paintings for you.
These will all be going.
Pretty cheap.
Jody just popped in. So Jody or Grady, if you guys want to start the chat over at Isobuddies, we're going to wrap up here. But thanks for joining us, Brian. This has been great.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much.
We went overtime. I wasn't expecting that at all. That's great.
I could go all night. I love, like I said, once I get into this stuff, I love it. It's a blast, and I love talking to everybody. Probably more often than none, I'll be sitting in bed at 2:00 in the morning, and there'll be one person that'll ask me a question, and my wife's asleep, and I'm like, so yeah.
I get to talk about bugs. This is great.
Yeah.
Land
That's the
crabs.
best thing to do at 2 and 3 in the morning. Avocado, and I can tell you from experience this week.
Well, you know, we need to get both of you guys in on one of our Drinks and Pods specials here.
Oh,
in the
totally. We'd
future.
love to.
So it's a fun adventure. The wifey, she brings out the blender and the tequila, and you know, we give tequila to all the Isopods, get them drunk, get them lit, whatever, you know. So
I think my wife will ration my
Play the
alcohol.
slow
Last
jams.
time I drank on the internet, it was bad.
last time I got hammered, man, I was tossing out gift cards left and right, and you know, I started getting orders over the next couple of weeks, and I was like, how did this person get that?
The Isopod mama needs to put a shock collar on you and be like, settle down. Settle down.
She tries.
That's our retirement fund, buddy. All right. So we'll see you soon, buddy. And be over in chat. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Claire. Then there were two.
So
It's always awkward kicking out our guests. Like,
I know
beat it.
we ought to figure something else out. We'll talk about it. But
I like to beat
so we definitely tell him to beat it. That's
Make
what
like
we're
an
going to
egg.
do next week.
Can I tell an old person? Be like, make it like an egg and beat it.
Yep. So Avocado is going to be putting some links in the chat. We should have some links in description. So make sure you go and find Brian at the Isopod Man with his website, on his Facebook for his waffles and his drinks and pods and all the good stuff. Special shout outs tonight to my friend Ryan Arantes, who did our logo. So our nice little Isopod on the computer.
We did
Josh
a
made a
Isopod
quick
Buddies production. Isopod
Yep.
Productions. Yep.
He did the logo. Josh made a quick sketch. We sent it off. We got it back within a day.
Yeah,
And
a couple,
Ryan's website should be coming up either in the description and or the chat as well. So if you need any kind of design or website, he does it all. He's amazing. I love him. I've known the guy for a long time now, number of years. So definitely go check him out. And his Instagram is, I gave him an @ in our bio on our Instagram at isobuddies_production, so you can go find him there too. And another extra special shout out to our good friend of the channel, Morris of Permian Exotics, for a little bit of help in the writer's room this week.
Speaking of old guys, Wally's got some exit lines for us. I'm just going to have to call Wally when I need some old guys.
I can feel Nanette shaking her head about that one right now. I bet that's why we didn't get a good exit line last week.
That look, I told my wife, I was like, if you watch no other episodes of this show, watch that one, because I feel like you give me this look unconsciously all the time. So, or she'll look at her phone while she's half listening and just shake her head like, oh my God.
Speaking of other episodes, we do have all of our back episodes available. So if you haven't watched them, go watch them. If you have watched them, go watch them again and send them to a friend. And next week, we'll be right back here at our new time, which is 6:30 Pacific, 8:30 Central. I don't know.
Central.
YouTube does the thing for us. And we will be talking ants with one Mr. Tyler Cheeto Lord and one of his buddies.
Tyler and Tony. I know him as
Tyler
Cheeto Lord. Something. He's really into anime, but he'll be here. We're going to talk about ants with the two of them. So that'll be a different situation having two guests. We'll manage. Never met those dudes before, except for I guess Tyler and chat. But while you're at it, if you're still here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It makes me so happy. We've been at 50 subscribers for 3 days, and it's driving me crazy. But we hit that milestone is 50, right? What else? Like, subscribe, and share.
Click the bell. Share.
Yeah, kick the bell icon. Just kick it, and then it'll get stuck, and it'll let you know when I post again. I still have to post a video about my update on my ant farm thing. So it's coming along. I'm probably a good 6 hours away, 6 hours of work away from having it done. Other than that, we'll see you guys in chat. Thanks for joining us. As always, Isobuddies unite. Isobuddies out. Isobuddies out. All right.
Isobuddies out.
That's it.